One of the best books I've read over recent memory is Saraya's book, Hell in Boots.
Oh,
And hold on, I didn't introduce you yet, so don't talk.
oh,
So Saraya's new book, Hell in Boots, clawing my way through 9 lives, and I'm being, in all seriousness, Natty, and you know I'm always truthful with the Busted Open Nation. This is as honest and raw of a book that you could possibly read, and Saraya really opens herself up, and it's a phenomenal story. And for somebody who's so young as Saraya to have a documentary, a book, and a theatrical movie come out about her life just shows you everything that this young woman has gone through. And it's my pleasure to have her once again on the show. And let's bring in Saraya, who joins us here on the Heartbeat. Saraya, how are you? And it's great to have you.
oh, thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm actually, so everyone's aware, obviously getting my makeup done right now. We're trying to multitask over here, but I appreciate you guys having me on, and thanks for hyping up my book so much. I really appreciate it. But yeah, hell of a book. I'm excited for Natty's book. I'm so
Thank
excited. I
you.
ordered it already. I did the pre-order.
Thank you so much. And I had
Yeah.
I had pre-ordered your book, and then of course you had also gifted me your book, which was
Yeah.
so nice. And
Yeah.
it's the thing with your book that I love, just because we're talking about books. What I love about your book so much is that you want to get to the next chapter, and it's very
Yeah. Oh,
easy to read. Like, I think
thank you.
that, like, we need to talk about how easy it is to read, because listen, this day and age, I don't none of us want complicated. I don't want to read Gone with the Wind. You know?
Yeah. 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 I feel your sister. But,
And
oh,
so what I liked
yeah.
is that when I was reading it, I could hear your voice on the
Thank you.
pages. And that's one of the things, like, even from the very first time that I met you and worked with you, you've always been very real, you've always been very honest, and you wear your heart on your sleeve. That is
Thank you, Nika.
spread through the entire book.
Thank
Whether
you.
people like it, whether they don't like it, you're just going to be who you are. I love that. Like, when you were
Thank you.
writing it, what was going through your mind?
Well, I had a ghostwriter at first, right? And when she did it, I was already a little bit skeptical of a ghostwriter, honestly, because I was like, oh, I don't think it's going to sound like me, right? So she did it. It took over a year, and it just was. I was like, this isn't good. This is not that she can't write, but it wasn't me. And I like, I want people to I want it to be like my diary, essentially.
Right.
And so actually my friend Taylor is here too. She helped me write it, and it took over another year to get that done. So we had to start pretty much from scratch again. But I was like, I can't put out a book that's not authentic to me. Like, and then there was stories that she was met, like there was stories that was getting complicated, and there was added stuff in there that didn't happen. And I'm like, oh no, like this cannot go out. So it was exhausting. And as you know, it's very mentally exhausting. And it's like having a therapy session, having to keep going over these chapters. And it was very emotional, especially the chapter with Fade to Black. I've never been able to talk about it ever in my life. And I was like, if I'm going to do a book, I have to tell everything. Right.
Yeah.
And so it was very mentally exhausting. Again, you understand the struggle with writing books and stuff like that. And it took a very long time, but it's so rewarding once you have it done. Like, you're like, I
Yes.
can't believe we did this. I cannot believe it's out there. Like, it's the most vulnerable you feel as well. Like, it's very vulnerable. You're just like, oh my gosh, people know me now, but at least they're hearing it from me and not some freaking loser on the internet that thinks they know me.
I feel like we have similar, because we're generational kids.
Oh,
People
yeah.
think it was easier for us, but I feel like
No.
sometimes when they find out it was, like, harder. Talk about that, like how hard it was to
Yeah.
get
Ye-
in.
Nepo babies or whatever, when it comes to other things, they can be some truth to it. But I feel like in wrestling, it's the complete opposite. Like, they don't give you favors, they don't give you handouts. Like, you have to grind whatever happens. And I remember getting scouted and stuff, and he wouldn't give me the tryout. He was just like, you have to work for it. I'm not just going to let you have this, and I have to know that you're good enough. And so, like, definitely took a while, and I had to grind. And as you know, you work the indies for hardly any money. I wasn't getting paid very much. I would do some for free sometimes too.
Right.
And I'd be like driving 8 hours to Scotland or going to Europe and stuff like that. And I would get, like, my flights paid for, but that's it. I would be doing it for free because I just wanted the exposure and to grind and get out there. But yeah, it was definitely difficult for us, Natty. I will say that it was definitely difficult for us.
And you were one of the ones too that, like, I remember when you first came in, you were so different. And I think that
Thank
like
you.
now we
Yeah.
see women like Rhea Ripley that are like, they're really
Yeah.
embracing being different. Like you were one of the first to be like, no, I'm not going to be like anyone
Yeah.
else. I want to be me. Talk about that for you.
Yeah, yeah. So coming in, it was definitely like all the women you included in that, you're all so beautiful. I mean, like just so gorgeous where I'm just like, I'm never gonna be as pretty as that, you know. I was so intimidated by you all, you know, and like you were different in a way where you could wrestle your ass off though, you know, like you were just so inspiring to me. But like coming in, it was a little when I did my tryouts, I was like, they're either gonna love me or they're gonna completely hate me because I am not your typical diva back then, you know. And ultimately, it's the thing that made me such a success. I don't think it was like the wrestling side of things. I don't think it was the promos. I genuinely believe it's because of the way I looked, and I'm so proud of myself for kind of sticking to my guns and staying as authentic to myself as possible. You know, because it was scary coming in. I could barely brush my hair. I'm doing this tryout in front of all these huge wrestlers like Randy Orton, Edge. You know, all these massive people. And that you remember those tryouts where everyone would stand around the ring?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
totally remember those.
And I just look so different. I see the Kellys and Eves and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's no way I'm gonna get signed. There's no freaking way. And ultimately I did. And I'm just, yeah, I'm definitely very proud of myself for kind of just being different. And now when I see the wrestling like landscape of, you know, the emo girls, there's so many. Like everyone incorporates the studs, the spikes, the darkness, the mystery. And I'm just so proud that I could be a part of
Yes.
that emo movement, you know?
You were kind of the first, I feel
Yeah,
like. I
thank
mean,
you. Yeah.
you were really the first so that women like, you know, AJ Lee and women like, you know, we see Rhea who like she's so
Oh,
unique and so
she's
different,
amazing.
but like
Yeah.
you know, when you look with I've heard Rhea do interviews before saying like I just felt like I had to be like really pretty and blonde and just
Yeah.
like and it's funny because you talk about all these beautiful girls in the locker room and
Yeah.
in my book I wrote there was times when I'm writing in my book because I think so many of us never like not all of us but there's so many of us that never felt pretty enough. We never felt enough and
Yes.
it was just
Yes.
it wasn't necessarily the company, it was also an internal thing where
Mm-hmm.
a lot of us girls in sports in general were overachievers.
Yes.
You know, perfectionistic
100%.
overachievers. So a lot of us were feeling like we weren't really enough. And so somebody like you stood up for the women that felt like they weren't enough.
Yeah. Well, just so you know, you back then, now, of course, but when I was younger and seeing you back then, I just thought you were one of the most beautiful women in the world, you know. So I just like I admired you so much because you could wrestle and you kind of didn't hold back even in the diva era, you know. You're like you went in there and you're like, no, I'm gonna have a kick-ass match whether you like it or not. So I feel like you need to give yourself some credit there because you inspire women like me to come in and be like, heck yeah, if Natty can do it in an era like that, I can also do it. I'm just going to be the pale version, you know?
Yeah. Well, and we women like you and me, and there's so many I listed them. I was talking with them last week, but like myself, Beth Phoenix, Michelle McCool,
Hmm.
Layla,
Hmm.
you know, AJ, I'm just the Bellas, Maurice, Eve,
Yeah.
like I'm just naming a few, Mickey, like we were ready for the revolution before it was ready for
Yes.
us.
Oh, I know. I remember. Yeah, I remember you guys were like tired. You're like, no, we need to change some things. But it just took, you know, I feel like a group of us getting together and being like, okay, we're going to kick down this door whether you like it or not. And the big thing that helped is the fans too. They
Yeah.
did. They went online and they were like, no, we want to see these women freaking wrestle. Like we love them. They sell merchandise too. We want to buy their merch. We put them butts in seats and they were just like, we're going to try and give you the chance and force the company's hand in a weird way, you know.
Yes, and there's women like you that did really were vocal about it and standing up for the
Yeah.
division, which I love, and we owe
Thank
you a
you.
lot for that.
Thanks, Natty. Oh my gosh. That's thank you.
You know what I love, and I love about this conversation that you two are having, is that the excitement in your voice, the excitement in your eyes, the excitement on your face, not just when you're talking about the past and what you've been able to accomplish, and as Natty said, accomplished a lot, but even
Yeah.
talking about what we're seeing right now, AJ Lee's
Uh-huh.
return, Rhea
Oh,
Ripley,
my
like
baby.
and I hear it in your voice. So let me ask you, sorry, but let's be honest here. Are you getting juiced up? Like, are you like, all right,
Oh,
all this stuff is happening. I want to be
yeah.
a part of it.
You know, I'm always going to have that feeling because WWE is doing amazing things right now. And you're just like, man, I miss being in the locker room. I miss being around people like Natty. You know, I miss my sisters. You know, I do miss that. And I miss being a part of these things. And then when I watched AJ, I've watched that over and over again because she's my fairy godmother, dude. I love her so much. She was one that kind of took me under her wing when I first came up on the roster too. And we traveled together and, you know, we had the frenemies thing. And my social media has not stopped. It is blown up. I cannot go on there without hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people doing videos being like, please bring Saraya back, please bring Paige back, you know. And I get excited. I'm like, because I keep forgetting. I feel like people don't like me anymore. And it sounds pretty, you know, insecure. And I'm not trying to get sympathy, but it made me really emotional for the past couple of days. And I have like shed some tears about it because I'm like, oh my God, people still like me and they still want me to be around. And that's probably the best feeling in the world for me. Like, you know, I get insecure about these things. As Nat, you know, like this world can be a little stressful, you know, and you get insecure. And so yeah, that's been amazing. And with AJ, I would love to be, you know, her tag partner again or run it back eventually, you know. I'm not saying right away. She needs her moment, you know, like people are excited for her to come back. Maybe one day. We'll see.
Well, see, this is what upsets me about you, and it pisses me off, quite frankly. And I understand, like, you know, the last time we spoke when the book first came out, you went through a lot
Mhm.
in your career. But sometimes I feel like you listen to the wrong people.
Yeah.
Who cares what people are saying online, you know, because that's make believe. That's not a real. Like,
Yeah.
I think people really know what you've accomplished and what you've achieved in this world. Um, you need to know that. Like, you know,
I
Natty
know.
always says on like saying fuck you to these people. Like
Yeah.
you've accomplished so much. Like you have to understand that, don't you?
No, I do. I do. I feel like I have done a lot for women's wrestling. I do believe that.
Yes.
I do believe that. But everyone has a moment. They have a human moment, you know what I mean? Where you're just like, we get in our heads sometimes. This world can be, you know, exhausting mentally, you know, and you have the insecurity and stuff. And I know I've done a lot. I know my career has been really great. It was kind of cut short with the neck and stuff like that. But now she's healthy. Now my neck is healthy. Now I'm in full 100% health. And I want to start training again. I want to get in the ring and bring back, you know, the Paige that I was in NXT, you know, where me and Natty had matches. Oh my God. I watched it back a couple of days ago, Natty. We had a match in NXT and I was like, man, we just wrestled. And I just missed that side of me. And I'm like, I need to get back in the swing of things again. So if I ever do come back, you know,
I would so love to wrestle you again. I loved the match that we had at NXT was it was like I go back and I look at that match. I actually have that costume. Like it's one of the I have a wrestling room with all of my wrestling gear and that costume is like right front and center because I remember the night, I
yeah.
remember the costume, I remember taking your page turner and like of course, you know,
Yeah.
you're always invited to the dungeon anytime, but like I would absolutely love to wrestle you again and of course, you know, I feel like, and I said it earlier, but you are one of the women that stood up for the division when a lot of us, including
Thank you.
myself, you know, didn't have always have the courage to speak up because you know you don't want to rock the boat. But we needed women like you standing up for our
Thanks. You're gonna
division.
make
And
me
I talk
cry.
about that all the time with people. I actually have a chapter in my book
Yeah.
about a lot of it. And
Mhm.
so, like, of course, I would love to have a match with you again.
I
It'll
would
be a
love.
generational showdown, and we need get your ass to the dungeon because we've got
I
some unfinished
will.
business. But I hope you're ready to sweat because there's no air
Oh,
conditioning.
please, please do. I'm so ready to come back. I want to get my cardio back. I want to get the ring rust off because I feel like the past couple of years I wasn't fully invested in it as much, but I just found my love for it again. And I'm just like, man, this is such an exciting time for wrestling. And I miss it, and I want to get back. I want to be Paige again, the way she wrestled, the way Paige wrestled in NXT. I want that back and I want to upgrade her. I want to be doing so. I'm not going to be crazy, but like I want to do the new generation style of wrestling. Like, so if I ever do come back, people are going to be surprised, I think, about what I can whip out. And I'm going to credit you, Natty, because I am coming to your dungeon. I'm going to come there for a good month and we are going to sweat.
But you know, the other thing I was gonna say too is that you wrestled Natalia,
Yes.
but you
Oh,
have
Natty.
not wrestled Maddie.
Oh, Loki legend, please. Oh my God, I'm in love with you. I just think you're such a badass. And I'm like, this is Nay. This is her. Like, you've been seeing Natalia for a long time. You don't realize what you're in for when it comes to Nay. Oh my God, you are such a badass and you are showing people who you are. And it's so powerful. And I love that you can rebrand yourself. And, you've been in the wrestling business a long time. You've been in WWE for a long time. And you're the biggest workhorse that I've ever come across. You love this business and you never stop. You never give up. You never get complacent. You grind and you evolve. And it's just people should be taking notes from you. And I'm not saying this to kiss some ass right now, Natty. You need to know this. People need to take notes from you because you are the epitome of a freaking wrestling soldier, dude. Like you are the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
Well, thank you. You made my morning. Really, you've made my morning. So thank you so much. I paid her on the side, Dave, to say that.
Yeah. No, but I think it's important, and Natty, we talk about this, but I think it's important to tell Saraya right back at you. Because
Thank
Saraya,
you.
what you've been able to do, I couldn't imagine. Like I'm a fuck up. I've made so many mistakes in my life, but I didn't have a spotlight on me while I
Yeah.
was doing it. Like
Yeah.
you did. Like
Yeah.
you went through what people do at your age, what they go through, and
Yeah.
you were judged because of it. And I couldn't
Yeah.
even imagine
Still am. Yeah.
I can't even imagine going through what you went through, but you went through it and you're better for it. And
Thank you.
and listen, I just wanted to take a moment to say to you, like, you are truly an inspiration. And like
Aw, Dave,
you
you're
should
gonna make me
really
cry.
you should really pat yourself on the back because of what you've gone through, and you're better because of it. And as a 54-year-old man, I admire you. So
Yeah.
you have, I truly do. So thank you for
Thank
doing
you.
what you do.
I needed to hear that, so thank you.
And the fact that
Oh
you
God,
were able,
make me cry.
Oh,
and by the way,
oh,
you were able to put a Gordon Lightfoot song as a chapter named in your book.
Thank you guys so much. I really do have to go there, and I love you. Thanks for making me tear up, you fuckers. I gotta go.